like watch them wreathe and shrivel up, and I'm telling you, there's quite a lot. There's handfuls of these slugs climbing out the cracks in my driveway, you know, coming out at night at food. You know, they're probably larvae that's been planted or something, or, you know, it's really odd, the amount of slugs. Or maybe it's just a natural, you know, failing of nature, and you're getting the dominance of slugs and snails, and, you know, they found a habitat because I don't cut the grass enough. And they're like, oh, all these larvae, it's a perfect environment to thrive. And they just come out and they look really sick. They've got like a snake pattern on the back. Oh, snake pattern, I better do something about this. You know, cut my grass and cut some foliage, and what can I do with these slugs? I don't know what the natural remedy would be. I have to look into it. But anyway, I use salt and they like shriveled up. That's what they'd be like in hell. It's burning on the outside. You can't see. Imagine you can't see and he's stinging all over, stinging inside. Right? And you can't go back, because you're trapped in between a place where you shouldn't have been. You weren't meant to be there, but God can't say, look, I warned you, don't stand on the electricity line, or don't stick your fingers in the cable, don't lie, because you go to hell. You know, it wasn't to get you in to pay a tithing and gratify those little religious people in their costumes. You know, they could put off those costumes and teach, you know, and I'm not saying they all teach wrong. They don't all teach Christ. They do. You know, but some of those people don't believe, and anyone can take up those positions and go through the qualification. And if those people aren't looking out for each other, they're not really looking out for their flock. They're not looking to Christ. They're looking to religion, and those people could make a big difference, but they don't. They've compromised, and you're robbed. You're robbed of the gospel, and it's down to people who have to take a big burden. I mean, my burden's very light. I'm very fortunate not to have a great deal of ministry responsibility like some people. Although it's just as much my responsibility as theirs, but I just can't give as much. And that hurts me. And I think, where are these churches? You know, and then I think, well, I could perhaps reach out to those churches. They don't want to know because they don't believe. And you're a threat. Oh, you're taking people out of our churches. Well, why don't you start feeding them? I could walk in there, you know. I could either point out who you are and what's behind you, but they're not going to believe it. They're all going to bite me, because they don't believe it either. So I think, well, you know, what's the Lord say? Well, leave them in there. But what's he going to do? He's going to burn it, and they're going to go to hell. Look at that. I never saw that. Look at that yellow pot. That is like a barrier. And then there's a fire. Of course it's a bowl. Of course that's just a little dragon, a little cartoon dragon. Because he's hot. He's hell. The dragon. You know, I'm not getting over animated about it and over passionate, but look at that strike and the dragon. Right. And there's more. I missed it. There was a pause there. I'll go on. Anyway, a lot of it's indifference. If you watch the hand signals in slow motion, one's inward, one's outward. See? Out, in. It's indifference. Left, right. Raining down. So that's the major part. I'm just going to let the videos run now. If I spot anything, I'll call it.
natural oats and malt, with lashings of good hot milk. That's what makes ready bread central eating for kids.
So I'm quite sceptical. I just see how I feel about. I relate to different things. I think we relate to different things, and that's the craft of it. There's no one driving it. So you can give it more scope, or you can give it less scope, and it will come out. It comes out in us. What we do, what we say, if we lie. So everyone can interpret things different.
Central eating for kids.
There could be a lot of truth in all of it. But the main thing is that they're all sending out a signal, and that behind that signal is an influence. That influence affects these young people. These young people are put up to infect or to have an influence on the general population. Oh yeah, it's absolutely, like kids go, oh yeah, that's cool, this is cool. You want to be like it, and the gangs, gangs are little seeds that somebody puts an idea out and kids pick it up and follow it. And they think, and they're given something which is a lie. So, people are blinded to how the world works, how iniquity works. It's like a seed. And I've seen these seeds in the wild, really, really fast-spreading weeds that are really difficult to deal with. And they come from like a pod, and it pops, but it's like a pair of fingers opening up, and it scatters the seeds out in all directions, north, east, south and west, and the seeds fly because they're on it's got a curved outer top. When they pop open, it sort of like flicks them out in these little seed pods out in an arc direction, so they're going out like an arc in an umbrella, and these seeds will do that again and again in all directions. You think of that in your mind, like the influences they're having on these kids, but they're getting bigger. The seeds are getting bigger, the iniquity is getting bigger, and you're getting more and more, and then there's not enough room for any plants, so the seeds ain't going to be able to go anywhere. It's going to die. It's going to choke itself. Right? That's called wildness, because we've lost our common sense. We've all got common sense, but have we got it continually? Do we let go of it? I let go of it every second. My mind is, it's like a wobbly tooth hanging off. I keep wobbling it. I can't hold my tooth solid because my concentration solid, because I've done lots of damage to it myself. I had lots of damage done to it. All these things add up, and I found Christ. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to comment like this. Because without Christ, I'm a vegetable. My life is a miracle. I can't function, and I had to learn about what it is I had. I had to learn. I use the elephant man as an analogy. The elephant man. I'm just talking about the person with that condition. I don't know much about how that condition, that person, that individual person. If you imagine he could see himself, he may not understand. He can see himself in a mirror, then he can turn to the world and he can compare, and he go, oh, beautiful, but that's ugly, or he hasn't got he doesn't know what his perception is. And now you imagine if you couldn't see, but you could hear all the, look at that. Imagine what you feel like, what am I? Guess what you are? What I'm dung bull, a Nazi, fascist, or sadist. I sound like Imagine, they could see him, he couldn't see. He just popped his eyes out or something, covered his eyes over. And so I couldn't see my, what I was. So I had to learn and see. And the only way you can see is Christ, and this is really what these have been about. Not Ready Break or the imagery. I think the imagery is a consequence of not having Christ. And images are shapes. They're images. You've got good images, bad images. But it's how you use images. So if you had a clean sheet and you put a black triangle on it, right, it disrupts the image, the clean sheet. You put two images, you can create a horrible looking shape. You don't want to look at it. And that's a consequence of images. It's the whole Old Testament is the unbalance of all these different weights and images. The Lord wanted to teach simplicity by weights and measures. But the people wouldn't be in the weights and the measures. They were the Lord had little ones and different sized pieces, and they were comparing. So it's tipping the scales, you see, and it became unfair. And then you had the negativity of that, different images for using in secret. So God revealed to his people these beautiful principles. And they took those principles and applied it to their own application of worship, which was images, which was idols. I'm going to talk a bit briefly about what an idol is and what an image is. You think of all the pop stars, they're idols. Anything we look up to, they're idols. And that creates unfairness, because we all want to be one. But we all are one on the ground, on the level playing field. Because the world's set up with idols, it's an uneven playing field, right? Well, do you want to play on an uneven playing field? Do you want to remain on it? Because it's going to go, it's going to collapse. And if you're not on the playing field when it goes down, where do you think you're going? Somewhere nice? What, you're going to get a reward for doing that? Yeah, you're going to get a reward. You're going to get the reward what you deserve, what you chose and what you've taken. And if you've got some time in your day left, I suggest you start really evaluating what you take, what you got, and think, well, who gave me that? And in fact, give it back to him and say, I don't deserve this here. If you see fit, I can remain there, or I can, return to a responsible position and not misuse it like I have been. Then I've learned the lessons. I learned where it goes wrong, and now you show me how to nip it in the bud. If we put those two lessons together, where does it go wrong? It goes wrong with turning from Christ. How do we nip it in the bud? We don't turn away from him. And that's just simple logic. No one on this planet can argue that away from me. I can sit in a court of law. You try and get me off the table with that, because it ain't me on the table, it's the Lord. So he put me here, and he'll put you here. I'm nothing special. You don't know what I look like. Not in this video. If you see me the first time, I could be a pair of lips. I'm not a pair of lips, but I'm just a man. I'm just a weak, feeble man. He's been made strong by the man, the Son of Man, the Son of God, the heart of God, the love of God, the truth of God, the Word of God. I could speak for 20 years. I could speak around eternity like this about my God, because he's living water. And you want to thirst that living water. You want to breathe and drink that living water and have that life in you like a tap. Oh, I left the tap on. Oh, never mind, there's plenty of water. We're drowning in it. Have some of this. Come and buy. The Lord said, come buy me. Come buy from me. He said this millennia ago. More than that, he said, come buy with me. I can't quote the exact scriptures, Isaiah. Come buy milk and honey, or free without price. Or come unto me, all you that are heavy laden. and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke, take my burden. What's his burden? He hasn't got a burden, his life, he's God, he's resting, sitting down on the right hand of his Father. And they're sitting there. Their life, they're not thinking about this and that, it's their life. That's what they want you to have. And we never understand it. Because we're not the governors of life. We're just part of his creation. We don't govern him. We don't tell him where to drive. Oh, turn here, Dad. Pull over. Oh, no, Dad, I want to go this way. Pull over. No. He knows best. You want to put your trust in him. You can't imagine. I can't even imagine. I don't know. How can you get... you want to run away. And he won't want you to run away. You don't want to run. You're going to be frightened. Am I going to feel left out in heaven? What do I do? What do I do? Well, heavens will be within you. You'll feel perfectly at home there. You'll be perfectly content. You'll be terrified, but that will be got over. He's there. Don't worry, Jesus will be there to help us. So consider your life. You can have that, or you can have the opposite. And everybody's got a choice. And I made my choice, and it'd be selfish not to share that choice with other people. And stick my arm out, or just stick a video on YouTube. But I don't want to stop there, because it's life. But I've found my life. I've been given a life, because I lost my life. And he gave me a new one. I don't know what it entails. I don't know what tomorrow. I don't even know what 5 minutes is going to do. And who wouldn't want anyone else to have that? It really frustrating. I understand, because I was no different, but I find it really frustrating that there's, I really don't understand. I can't get my head around it. And I get angry, and I've got no right to be angry. It's just because I'm desperate to do something, and I think I get high and mighty, I take root, and I forget Jesus, and I think, you really should do, like accusing, like the devil accusing. And I don't do it very often. I try to be quite considerate. I've been taught to be considerate, and I think I've been put in a position where you're either considerate or you're inconsiderate. And I was like a nerve ending. I was the youngest. I was a nerve ending. I was considerate. I thought about everyone. I looked up to everyone. I didn't know any different. I was last. So I was looking up to everyone. I wasn't sneaky. I didn't feel left out. My brother was the first. He was like, he was the first. He was a beloved. He was my beloved. I followed him. He hated it. I loved him, and I knew he was loved as he was. He was the firstborn son. He was my firstborn son. He wasn't my son, but he was my firstborn brother. He was the firstborn son of my mum and dad. He was my brother. I hated his guts sometimes. I didn't really hate him, but you go up and down. But at the end of the day, blood's thicker than water. You love. I bet everyone loves their own family. And those that don't, they would have if they had what they would desired. And if they had a chance, they would like their family put back together. I bet you, everyone's going to bring, it's going to bring tears to everyone else because it touches on the truth. Who am I to touch on the truth? Nobody. I don't know anything. I'm just, all I could be a corpse, Who's this bloke? You could come and ask me, who are you? I don't really know, to be honest, I am just saved. I am nobody. And I can't believe it myself. How do, life is so precious. And this stuff isn't. This is garbage. No, yeah, I'm going to get to sleep now because it's good. I'm not going to tell you the time, but I'm going to leave you that. And if you've seen this, I want to just thank you for watching it all the way through, because I know I've drove on a bit, and I probably will. I don't know how many videos I'm going to make. I don't even know if these will be released, but I'm aiming to release them. I don't know if I'll be here in the morning, but God willing, I'm going to release these, and they're going to help somebody. And it's really that's all that I want to do in my heart, is the people, how I've been affected by the mental torment, what they do to people, these crude, evil people, and they are sadist, selfish bullies. They're just like thugs in the place. You've been in school, you know what blokes are like, all thick as water, really negative end of blokes. And then you get the polarity, you get intelligent negative, and you get like basis negative and positive. There's a polarity left and right on the left, and there's a polarity left and right on the right, and it all has an impression, and you get this really puddle of the base in everything dominating, and then the face is the other dominating in both. So you get these two dominants, two faces. So it's like four faces. Two, four at the top, four at the bottom. And it dominates, and when the dirty face dominates, the good one's going to get dirt all over its face. It ain't going to be able to see any good anymore. That good's going to die. And you're going to be lost. And when it all dries up and starts catching fire, you're going to wonder where all the good's gone. Well, let me tell you about the scriptures, right? The good gets taken away. My brother got taken away. I'm not saying he's good, but it taught me what good is, because I saw death. And what good we were given was taken away. And that ain't the first time. I got a daily reminder. I got other reminders before that happened. Worse than that. But I had that on top. And then I see it all, I've seen, you've seen it. You've been exposed to as much death and violence and fear than I have. I'm no different to you. I feel just exactly the same way that you do. You think of racism and prejudice. Racist is a prejudice word. It splits people. Oh, there's it's racist. Well, no, we're human, we're people. It's prejudiced against other people. Don't call it racism. That sticks up a peak, and it's like the sheet folds over either side of it, and they start arguing, right? That's division. That's deliberate. Or a consequence. That can be both. And now you just create more thorns in the world, and the sheet falls down either side, and they can't see, the good face can't see the bad face. So that's the service you get when you're needy. Oh, I need an ambulance. You get the bad face. Oh, I need an ambulance. You'll get a good face. Then you complain, the good face is going to stamp all over. Well, don't you dare speak against these poor people. Don't you dare speak out against these hard-working, or these men that have gone out to war.